Hey guys, so I wanted to make a quick video today for composers who are on a budget. The good news is there's plenty of free stuff out there to get you started, and I wanted to share some of my favorite sample libraries that I found online for free. This was sort of like also just like a personal challenge just for me to see if I could come up with something that sounded cool using only free stuff. So yeah, here it is. I'm going to go over some of the different libraries and instruments I used here, and then we'll listen to the finished track. So I'll post up the links to everything in the description below, and feel free to hit up the comments and let me know what your favorite free sample libraries are. So let's talk about Spitfire Audio's Labs. It's quite popular. You may have heard of them already. Labs is a collection of free virtual instruments that are developed by the folks at Spitfire Audio. They're really easy to use, completely free, and they come with their own plug-in player, so you don't actually have to rely on Kontakt to run them, which is awesome. They're compatible with any DAW. They release new instruments all the time, and there's a variety of different instruments, not just orchestral stuff, but lots of synths and atmosphere, type stuff too. They're lots of fun. Highly recommend downloading all of them. I use them all the time. So as you see here, we got the soft piano, and actually I use the soft piano in this track, and I'll show you how it sounds. It's just a nice, really nice mellow vibe, kind of a nice felty piano. I'm using a few different pianos in this track, actually. I'm using the stock Logic pianos as well, just to kind of beef it up and basically just put a lot of reverb and compression on it. And I'm using something called the spring piano too, which I'll come back to in a minute. So next up is the VSCO, or the Versilian Studios Chamber Orchestra. The Community Edition is a completely free orchestral music library with a full string, brass, woodwind, and percussion section. I think it's one of the best overall free orchestral sample libraries that I've found. And what's nice is that the link below will take you to a site where you can download the samples in multiple different formats. So for example, they have it in SFZ format, so you can use it with this Sforzando player, and they provide the VST and AU versions as well, so you can use it as a plugin in your DAW. Or if you prefer, you can download it as an NKI file, so you can use it in the full version of Kontakt. And what's cool is they even provide the raw wave files, so you can actually build your own instruments with it if you want to go that extra step. It's all under the Creative Commons license and totally free to use and share in whatever way you like. So it's super cool. Let's listen to how it sounds. So I used the VSCO for quite a bit of stuff in this song, and we'll start with some of the string instruments. So this is what the cellos sound like. And then we have some like ensemble sections. Add some brass in there. The viola and the violin sections kind of sound like this. String ensemble. Added some flutes in there. Then also some Labs instruments. So I got Labs pizzicatos, which sound really nice. A bass synth. And then my personal favorite, the Labs choir, which sounds really great. It's awesome instrument for creating like nice pads. Check it out. I think that sounds great. So also used some VSCO instruments to create the melody halfway through this section, and it sounds like this. We got French horns, the brass ensemble, and sustain strings. So So that's the brass with the strings. Cool, so sounding pretty good. So let's talk about the Sforzando player. I mentioned that earlier. You can use the free Sforzando player to use this VSCO orchestra instruments. I'm using it as a Kontakt instrument, but when you download the Sforzando player, it's totally free. It'll play any SFZ files. It's really straightforward and simple to use, and we'll take you to the site here. It's a great tool for professional developers and hobbyists to share and use instruments without relying on proprietary formats. The player, it's got a bunch of factory instruments already built in, but I'm going to throw in a link below to the ultimate list of free SFZ instruments. Tons of great stuff there, including plenty of free orchestral libraries too. So let's listen to one of the instruments that I used from the Sforzando player. I just used a bass drum. So that's one of the stock orchestral drums in the Sforzando player, and I fleshed it out with a bunch of other percussive instruments from the VSCO library. So I'll just kind of solo these in here one at a time, and this is the bass drum from VSCO. And we got a snare. To round it out, I used one of the Labs percussion patches. It's kind of like a wood block. And then for like the top line melody, I used the Labs handbells and the VSCO glockenspiel. Cool. So, and a bit of shameless self-promotion here, but I got to also include my own free sample library of cinematic hits, risers, sub-hits, and effects. You can download it completely for free from my website, and I'll throw the link in below. Please hit that up. I've had quite a few people download it thus far, and I'm really stoked that people seem to be really enjoying it. It's definitely come in handy when making this track. So let's listen to it. I'm just going to solo all the samples from that library. So basically just embellishments, big hits, just to kind of accentuate the specific points of this track. Cool, so you get the idea, and let's listen to the whole track. Okay, so yeah, lastly, I should mention that there's also an enormous amount of options for free Kontakt libraries if you purchase the full version of Kontakt. To be clear, Native Instruments Complete Start is absolutely free, and you can download that from their website, and it comes with a ton of cool instruments. One of the differences between the free Kontakt player and the fully paid one, which cost about $500 Canadian, by the way, it's not cheap, but one of the differences between the two is that you can load unlicensed libraries with the full version. So what's cool is there's tons of developers and hobbyists who create their own Kontakt libraries, and there's some great freebies out there, many of which I use, regularly. One of the coolest ones that I've come across recently is Piano Book. So Christian Henson of Spitfire Audio has this side project called Piano Book, and what it is basically is an online community of people who have sampled their own instruments and posted it up on the site to download and use for free. There's some great stuff here. A huge variety of pianos and other percussive instruments, atmospheric samples, guitars, etc. Go check it out. However, be warned, it does require a full version of Kontakt to use it, so I didn't want to rely on it too much for the sake of this video. I did, however, throw one of their instruments in the mix just for fun, and I'll show you how that sounds. It's the spring piano. Just a really nice, lush sounding piano. Also kind of in the same vibe as the Lab Soft piano, just very felty and like warm. There's tons of other instruments, that just sound like this or just have a completely different character on Piano Book. I highly recommend going to check it out. Very cool. So that's the track. A bit of mixing, EQing, saturation, reverb, compression, and it sounds pretty good. It's, obviously this song is a very typical Audio Jungle style, motivational, uplifting type of orchestral track. I hope it inspires you to, make your own music. And please give this video a like or subscribe to the channel for more. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.